I have a jump rope, but it doesn't really go well with the fan that's going on in here.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's do this. It's just me and you so far. So we'll kind of tailor it. We'll kind of tailor it. So we're just going to spend a couple minutes just kind of warming up with little shadow boxing drills. But what I want to incorporate is just a check, like we've been doing quite a bit. All right. So right here, we're moving around nice and loose, kind of emphasizing the use of that check, making sure that we're staying up on the ball of our foot. Okay. Not really trying to touch our heels to the floor at all.
All right.
Let's try to keep those elbows down and in a little bit more. Sit out here. Good. Let's incorporate this one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the 1, 2, we bring it back, we check, and we switch off of the check. Let me move this down a little bit so you can see my feet. So right here, I'm throwing the 1, 2, throwing the check, and from there I'm switching my feet. If you notice, this foot's turned out. That's going to allow me to kick through. So we're kind of moving on to a choreographed sort of shadow boxing. Throwing that 1, 2, bringing it back. I'm switching off of the check from here. I'm going to throw the kick. Boom. Spinning right through. And 1, 2, check, switch, kick. Get back in your normal stance. 1, 2, check, switch. Good. Give it a go. Good.
Now, am I aiming low or am I like
We'll just go low for right now. I don't want to put too much thought into the kicks, so we're just going to aim low for the leg for right now. After that check, we're here, we're switching, and from right there, I'm just kicking through. Nice. Next one right here. We throw the, once again, I start with the 1, 2, check, and And now I'm going to set it down, but out in front of me. I'm going to take a step off that check. And from here, I'm going to throw that knee. So again, 1, 2, I check, I step in, throw the knee, right back. 1, 2, check, step, knee, and back. 1, 2, check. I step forward off of that check, throwing the long knee, right back. Make sure as we're throwing this long knee that your hips are coming forward, your head's going back.
Copy.
There we go. When you take that step, Dylan, make sure that we're not like, make sure that off of that check, that I'm not stepping forward like this, but that I'm
I want to keep up.
forward like this, with my body back, hips back.
Okay.
Then I'm coming through with the knee.
Okay.
There we go, much better. That way you're not walking into a punch potentially. Good, good, good. Nice, good. I don't want you falling onto that knee, meaning or to that foot. After you throw the knee, I want you bringing it back. I don't want a big step. I don't want you stepping forward with it. Just throw the knee and then literally bring it right back. So again, right here, I throw the 1, 2. I check. I step forward. I throw that knee, but I'm not falling forward as I throw it. I'm throwing it and then bringing it back without ever touching that foot to the ground.
Okay, let's go with this one.
There we go. That's the balance. That's the posture we're looking for. Nice. Good. If you keep that head back, it's going to be easier to get your weight back. Meaning, as off of that check, and as I keep my head back, it's going to be easier for me to get my weight back, as opposed to bringing my head forward as I throw that knee. I don't want my head forward, I don't want my head back. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. You feel the difference?
Yep.
Yeah, see how much quicker it is to get back?
Yeah.
Now
Big time.
you're ready to keep on throwing. You're ready to keep on dealing with what's in front of you.
Okay. Is that normally how you're supposed to throw knees? Like, you don't want
Exactly, just like that. Yep, that's exactly how it should be thrown. You got to think of your upper body as almost a cantilever for your knee. As my knee comes forward, my upper body is cantilevering it.
that makes sense. I feel like you have more power that way, too.
You have a lot more power, a lot more balance, and you're a lot more ready. You're going to end up in a more ready position. It's going to allow you to be offensive or defensive or kind of do whatever you need to do at the given moment. A couple more times. We're going to move on in a second. I just want to keep on watching. Nice. Dylan, what do you got your gi hanging on?
Why do I have a hang up?
No, what is it hanging on?
So
Is it pretty secure to the wall there?
No.
Bring it off a little bit, because what I want you to do is I want you to kind of kick it a little bit. Okay. Because what we're about to do is we're about to do some push kicks to the wall. And so you can either, wherever you need, but yeah, we're not really going to hit it hard, so it's not super imperative that we're just kind of touching it, and I just want to kind of be able to have something nice and solid that we're actually driving our weight into. So from right here, again, I'm in my stance, okay, nice and loose. I'm going to throw that 1-2. My knee's coming up, and I'm going to just extend it through, touch it, right back down. I'm really not trying to push it hard. I'm just trying to extend and reach for the wall, okay? If my leg's straight, I shouldn't be able to reach it. What I should have to do is extend my hips in order to reach it. So I'm trying to get to a position where I'm actually reaching for the wall. I'm having to get into full extension. So again, 1-2, knees coming up, extend, right back. 1-2, knees coming up, extending, right back. 1-2, knees coming up, right back. And I'm just really touching with the ball of my foot right there. Let's take a look. Yeah, that was below the belt, proverbially and literally. So we got to get that knee nice and high. Better. I want your toes touching your gi.
Okay.
That doesn't mean move the gi lower. There we go. You got to get that ball to at least belly button height or higher. Good.
Got to pull up the britches just a little bit.
Good. Keep on going. The higher you get that knee to start with, the higher that kick's going to land.
Yeah, I figured that.
Another little thing that's going to help you, Dylan, is when I kind of crouch into this and get this knee nice and high. If I stay really postured and my back straight, it's going to be hard to bring this knee high. So what I'll kind of do is crouch just a little bit, almost like I'm checking. Again, I'm right here, 1-2, and you'll see me kind of do this. It's almost like I'm doing a crunch, and that allows me to get my knee a lot higher. 1-2, knee comes up nice and high. I'm just kind of crunching into this, pushing back out.
Oh, I see.
Better. Try to get that weight onto that rear leg, so that way we're not falling onto the front.
Yeah.
There we go, much better. Good, now we're just going to change legs right here. So again, I'm throwing this 1-2. Now this leg's coming straight up. Let me rephrase that. This knee's coming straight up, and I'm going to continue to push through with my hips. So again, 1-2, knee coming up, right back. 1-2, extend with that rear leg, up. Let's take a look. Good. All right. So one of the things that I want to cover the rest of the time we have are kind of going over principles of elbows, how, you know, the different kind of elbows, the variations. I'm not going to really go into like when we should throw them, maybe a little bit, but I'm more or less want to talk about just the mechanics and kind of the basics of how to throw these elbows. So there's a handful of elbows we can throw. There's a couple styles. We have the one that are kind of coming over the top. Okay. And once again, when you see me do this, I want you to look at what I'm doing from the waist down. It's the same thing as what I'd be doing if I was throwing across. Okay. Look at me from the waist down. That's a cross. That's the elbow. So still my power is coming from the waist. It's coming from the turn of my hips. It's coming from the rotation of my hips, driving through from the floor. Except my arm is just kind of, it almost looks like I'm throwing a baseball, but I never let it go. I just keep my elbow there and I drag it down. So this, they call this a few different names. I've heard this called a tomahawk elbow or a sky elbow. I don't know if there's, I'm sure in Thai there's a particular name for it, but we're just going to call this a tomahawk elbow. This is the way I've heard it. Again, I almost like reach like I'm pulling a sword, He-Man style, from my back here. Okay. This hand is blocking my face as I'm coming through, and I'm dropping it down. From a different angle here. I'm bringing my weight down as it hits my target. I'm not just driving through. I'm also dropping my weight as well. Try bringing it, check it out, Dylan. Try bringing it a little more down your center. So my center is right here. I'm turning my body and I'm bringing it down that center line. A couple reasons why. If my hands are up, and especially if I have gloves, I'm going to need to find that center line in order to split through the gloves. You see what I'm saying? I need it to come down this line right here. So if I throw it and I'm just throwing it like this, it's just going to hit glove or it's going to hit hand. So I need to turn my body through as I drop it. Give it a go. Much better. Good. And a perfect time to use this is when people already have their hands up. The elbows are a very short tool. Obviously, they're the shortest tool we have in terms of distance and our positioning with our target. I'm going to move this over here to the bag so you can I can have a better visual aid, I suppose. Let me know if something happens with the quality if I start going in and out, because apparently the farther I move this away from the router, the shittier it gets.
Copy. We're good.
So whenever everything good on your end, Dylan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whenever I'm throwing these elbows, unless I'm already in, I'm going to have to step in. So you'll usually see me take a step as I throw these, and that's doing two things for me. One, it's just bringing me to where I need to be, and two, it's giving me a lot of drive, a lot of power. I'm not only just throwing it, I'm stepping through as I throw this. Okay. Now, this is the perfect time to use this is when, let's say you throw the 1-2 and their hands come up. Okay. If their hands aren't in front of them, then you have easy access to step in because they don't have their hands up in front of them. They're not protecting the space between your chest and their chest. Their hands are at their face, so it makes it an easy approach. So a good combo, we've been doing this off the 1-2s the whole time. is throwing that 1-2 nice and hard, getting their hands up and stepping through and splitting their gloves. Their hands are up. We're trying to bring this elbow right through that little crack between their arms and trying to cut the forehead, come down over the top of the forehead, bust up the nose. So right here, I'm going to throw the 1-2. I'm going to step through, throw the elbow coming down over the top. And again, as I step through, I don't want to get caught with the hook. This hand's already up, blocking my way in. Okay, as I come in, I'm not coming in like this. I'm coming in like this. So that way, if they throw a cross or jab down the middle, I'm going to eat it on my arm, and I'm not coming in like this. I don't want to eat it on my face. Again, whenever we're stepping down the middle, something has to be between my face and their hands. So I throw the 1-2, I step in like this, and I throw it over the top.
Cool.
Take a look. Keep your eyes forward as you throw that. I don't want you looking at the ground. Much better. Good. So movement's good. The technique is good in terms of your entry. That's good. Let's move on. I just want to kind of run through the elbows so that way you can drill these on your own, or when Tuesday comes and we're incorporating it into our shadow boxing, we can start incorporating some of these elbow techniques. So cool. our other elbow we would need to cover is just a side elbow. Okay, and it's coming across like a hook. Now, if you notice, this elbow is covering my own chin, meaning I'm not throwing the elbow like this. I have my elbow up, and that's protecting my face as I'm coming through. Now, when I was first taught this way back when I was 22, way back when, my coach taught me this. He said, put your thumb right here below your throat on your sternum, and then turn. Once again, the power's coming from the turn of my body. Look at what I do with this other hand. Whenever I'm this close to my opponent or whatever is punching me, my hands have to be up. I might be out here throwing this jab, but as I come in, I'm blocking with this side and I'm throwing with this side. And what that looks like, if you're squared up with me face to face, is I'm here throwing, I throw, and then I bring this back to block as I come through. And as I come through, this is what my face looks like. There's not a lot of real estate for you to hit me. Okay? Once again, the power is coming from here. I'm not throwing this like this. I'm just putting this right here, and I'm dropping and turning my body into it. My shoulders are up, protecting me. My hands blocking my face. Thumb right here on the sternum. Okay? It has a little bit of a chopping motion the same way we chop down with these kicks. I'm coming up over the top just a little bit and through. We throw that jab, step in, throw that elbow. And I'm trying to really strike with the point of the elbow. And we come over here and take a look at what we're doing. Another good way of doing this, it kind of exposes the elbow a little bit more to cut them, is to almost try to put the back of my hand on my chest like this. See how my palm is exposed? And what that does is it really, really exposes the point of the elbow so that it really kind of ends up being the kind of elbow that cuts you open really bad. The less exposed my hand is, meaning when my pinky is up, it's going to be the point of my elbow. When my pinky is down like this, or palm facing down, it's going to be more the blade blunt of my arm here. Now, either one's going to really mess somebody up. But if you're really trying to cut people with the elbow, the point of your elbow, we're going to face the palm towards them and go down like this. There we go. That's a very bad cutting elbow.
Yeah.
Now, it feels a little awkward when we're drilling it like on the bag or with a partner. But one thing I want you to do now is I want you to think of where my jab would land. And then from there, I'm literally keeping my hand there. And what's stepping in behind me is the rest of my body like this. And you can drill this on the wall, actually. You don't even have to really hit it. But here's what I'm talking about, just like this. Make sure you can see me here. I'm just going to stand here like this. I'm going to touch my fingers like I'm eye poking. And from there, I'm going to step in and let that elbow come in behind it. And the use of this is throwing that jab, and behind the jab, you step in with the elbow. Okay? But just to get my range and distance, I'm just going to touch it like I'm eye poking with the tips of my fingers. And from there, I'm stepping in and bringing that thumb right to my chest. I don't want you leaning into it. Don't lean into it. Just step. So your toes pretty much going to have to come to the wall.
Gotcha. I'm good. Let me try something else. I'm gonna.
You can just do it with the bare wall, honestly. You're just barely going to touch it. You're barely going to touch it with your elbow. So start with your fingertips touching the wall, like reaching out. And then from there, keep that right hand up on your jawline. Okay. Now from there, you're stepping forward with your left foot, and you're going to step forward with your left foot, and that you're going to pull your thumb back to your sternum. Yes. Don't lean though. That's a lot better. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And so unless you really have a target or like a wall or something to drill it off of, it doesn't have a lot of, it's hard to see the application. But
yeah, I feel like most of the power is coming from stuff. So when you come in, you're like, step. So you're not really throwing, stepping into it.
All you're really doing is you're replacing your fingers right here with your elbow. So all I'm doing right here, okay, this would be a jab. Okay, and from here, if you watch my lead left foot, I'm stepping in, and this elbow is just coming in like this. Just like I would do this, but I'm doing it as I'm pulling my hand back. So as I'm pulling my hand back, I'm stepping in, throwing the elbow, and this thumb's coming right to my chest. I'm starting with my hand on the target. As I pull my hand back, my left foot steps in. Good. All right, we're just going to cover the last elbow here. All right. So, and just to kind of backtrack here, we started with that rear right tomahawk elbow. We can do the same thing with the lead elbow. Now, because we don't have the hip motion, the same hip motion that we have on this side, the left doesn't necessarily have that. So what you see a lot of times are people skip into this lead elbow, meaning instead of coming down over the top like this, they'll go like this. They're kind of just skipping into it like this. It's almost like I'm like hopping over a little tripwire. Or you see a lot of people, they'll fake it like they're throwing a push kick, okay? And they'll go, boom. All right, and this most often you see like when somebody's on the ropes or up against the cage or on a wall or something where they can't back up. Now, last elbow here we're going to do is just the upward elbow. And it's a good way of thinking about this is somebody told me, like, I'm slicking back my hair. Okay? My hand sliding up my face, up my jawline. It's going around my ear, behind my ear, and my elbow's coming up the middle. And it's the same move as an uppercut. I'm driving with my hips. Okay? Same thing on this side. Really getting up onto the balls of my feet. Keep on going. I'm going to move this. This is one of the few times, Dylan, I'm going to tell you to like really commit by turning in on the front. Usually, like when we're jabbing, I tell people not to commit too much, to not overexpose that leg and get kicked in the back. But because this is so close to our opponent, I'm not really in danger of getting the leg kicked. So this is one of the few times I'm going to tell you to really drive through this and use your hips and kind of turn and expose that front leg. Typically, that'd be a big no-no, especially when we're kicking range. I can't really turn my front leg like this. I always have to keep it out. But for this one, since we're so close, we're practically chest to chest with our opponent, there's really no danger of getting kicked. And I need to use this drive to get through. And what I'm trying to do is come through right between the elbows. When they're right here, I'm trying to take my elbow and come right between the space between their two elbows. Now I'm taking my elbow and I'm trying to drive it right up the sternum, up their jaw, potentially, especially if they have their head buried like this. Perfect time to throw the upward lead elbow. Because you're just going, that point of the elbow is going to hit the bottom of the nose and it's going to drive it right into their fucking head. So when they're really shelled up like this, perfect time to use that elbow. I'm just coming up through, really driving with my hips, throwing it. Give it a go a few times. We'll end it with those two. Make sure we're really turning our hips, driving with our feet and our legs. Kind of come down and scoop from underneath it. You got to think that you got to get underneath. That elbow has to start lower than where their elbows are at. I have to come in underneath and really scoop up with it. Let those hands slide back as we do this. Much better. Hips forward as we're doing this. Good. You have any questions for me? Anything you want to?
Not yet. Let me work on this for a little bit. Let me get that form good, and then we'll follow up tomorrow. Like today. Cool. Are we doing this tomorrow?
No, tomorrow's Friday.
Okay. Let me practice on that. I want to try to remember those key points. I've been writing stuff down so that way I can remember. Then at the beginning of class when we shadow,
What I'll do is I'll make sure that we're incorporating elbows at least when I do this on Tuesday. And so I'll make sure that I'm like looking at you specifically when we're doing this, make sure that, you know, you're kind of keeping some of those points in mind.
Right, because as I'm doing these moves, I'm still going slow because I want to get it right. And then as I'm doing it right, the speed will come. So I feel like if I just do it.
That's the way it should always be. You should always do it slow because when you're doing it slow, that's when you can feel whether it's right or wrong. So that's perfect.
Cool. So I'll just keep it that way, and then hopefully the pace picks up a little bit. But, yeah, I'd like to follow up on Monday as we start shadowing and make sure I get the key points right. So
Well, good work today.
Amen.
All right, brother.
I
Later.
appreciate it. Thank